90% of agency owners quit before even hitting year 2 with their agency. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the common mistakes most agency owners make that's preventing them from getting 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a month, exactly like I've done with my agency. I also teach everything in here in my coaching program, Leverage Acquisition. I work with 90 plus agency owners. So this is all the lessons I've learned from them, teaching them, and also building my agency myself. And like I just said, 90% of agency owners quit before year 2. And that's not because the agency model doesn't work. And that's what so many people do, is they blame the model and they switch shiny object syndrome to a different model. It's just because they never simplified it. And most are glorified freelancers. They call themselves an agency, but they're just a freelancer. They have 6 offers, 4 client types, and 0 leverage when they start off. They're making 8 grand a month while working 60 plus hours a week, and they can't figure out why they're stuck with their business. And some jump from niche to niche, chasing dopamine and saying this one will work, trust me, as if they just didn't switch from 5 niches beforehand. They think this one's going to work. And the industry, truthfully, and this is probably the cold hard truth that you have to get your head around, you can hear the 90% statistic of agency owners failing before 2 years, but the industry is flooded with beginners in their mom's basement who can't even make a cold call. So that statistic is coming from people who can't even sit down for 1 hour a day and start calling people up. So if you watch this video in full, you're going to realize why so many people fail and the common mistakes they make while doing that. So one of the biggest mistakes I see with agency owners is a concept called operational complexity. And really, it's a hidden killer for agencies. And we can define complexity, as I've just done here, as number of services multiplied number of niches multiplied by number of delivery variables. What does this mean? As you add services into your offer, as you add niches into your offer, and you don't know how to deliver on the service and you customize everything for your clients every single time, the amount you have to work dramatically goes up because you're learning something new every single time you sign a client. You're trying something new and you don't even know if you can predictably get that outcome that you're promising this specific client when you sign them. And also the management overhead triples if you're trying to outsource for like a media buyer, then a real editor, and you have 0 profit margins whatsoever and you're just tracking your revenue and then you make no money on profit because you're spending all the money with your agency. And this is what happens right here. This is complexity versus revenue growth with your agency. So right here, we have a line which is revenue, and this is the blue dotted line. And as you can see, if you add more niches, you can a little bit increase the amount of revenue you make. On the other hand, this looks great. What doesn't look good is the operational complexity, which is exponential. If you add multiple niches, you have different sales processes, you have different delivery systems, you have different people you need to hire for specific things in your service delivery process. So we can kind of define it this way. A service you offer, 2x is the complexity of your business. A niche you add has 1.5 times onboarding time per new client. You have a team member without systems, which is 3 times a management drag if you ever try to hire team members. And the revenue climbs linearly, but the complexity compounds exponentially. So that's very key. So when we look at this, it is not worth the trade-off simply to add in more niches because your complexity skyrockets. So let's get the basis of this video. It's a number one mistake because people are so desperate to get their first client and they try everything in shiny object syndrome all over the place until they have 5 niches they're working with. They have no idea how to deliver and they're delivering a terrible service. So this is kind of the core drivers of complexity and how to avoid it. And this is really how you scale very slow as an agency, doing this exactly what I'm about to lay out. The symptoms is too many offers here, and we have constant context switching. So one person you're on a sales call signing them on this offer, then you have a 599 offer, then you have a 5K offer. You have context switching all the time. You're not really getting comfortable selling one specific service. Number 2, like I've just mentioned earlier, is inconsistent delivery. You don't know if you can get this person an actual result with your business if it's a different delivery system every single time. And an unreal amount of time spent on delivery due to you switching the delivery every single time. And the hidden cost here means you have to hire new people, you have to have new tools, new KPI, new onboarding, and you have no proof of concept when you're doing this. And the key here, if you're in this specific situation, is to subtract things from your business that are not needed. What you want to do is go through everything you're offering right now as an agency owner and go, how is this affecting my margins in my business? So is this delivery system taking up all my time? And by the way, margins, like we can think of margins in 2 ways, one cash and one in time. People always want to think of the cash of the business that they're making in the revenue. At the same time, they're not looking at the margin of time. If one service is taking you 5-6 hours a day to deliver, and the other one's taking you an hour and you're getting the same results, just cut out the 5-6 hour one. It's that simple. You evaluate all the services you're offering and go, what can I just simply get out of the way that's not worth the margin or time whatsoever? And then the other one, which is drag, which is if it's taking you 6 hours a week to set up a service, it's not worth doing. Keep one offer that prints. So if you have super high margins on one offer, and it's an info product or it's a bonus you have in your offer and you're just sending them a PDF or something when you're signing clients on, keep that, because it simply takes you 2 minutes to send that damn document over. If you're running Facebook ads, you can have an SOP process with every single new client in that niche that you know by putting these Facebook ads on the screen, by clicking things, you can simply get X outcome every single time. 5 deals in 90 days, 30 appointments in 90 days. Next thing is rebuild it like a product. And a lot of you who are watching this are not info product owners, you're agency owners, but think of it as in a step-by-step process. Make a document and just simply lay out everything you need to do in an SOP. Everything that it takes to deliver this service for each client, you're going to write in a document so that you can have it for yourself every time you set up a client. In the meantime, you can hire a VA like I've done for my agency about a year ago, where you can have this VA just simply click the buttons in the document when you're setting up the advertising so that you don't have to do it anymore and you pay them for a few hours of work a week just to set up new clients and onboard new clients. So that is the fantastic way to subtract things in your business that are not working and how to streamline things and scale exponentially faster. Number 2 is too many client types. Symptoms here. If you're working 3 or 4 niches, case studies are useless. A landscaping niche testimonial in a gym niche is not going to work as effective as a gym niche testimony in the gym niche. They're going to go, okay, you brought this result for a landscaper. Have you ever generated gym memberships before for a business? Very crucial to know. So case studies are only relevant if it's in the specific niche. Number 2, messaging lands flat to prospects or messaging because you need to have niche specific language when you're talking to prospects. After a while, understand that certain things in real estate are going to be tire kicker leads. Tire kicker leads is by far a very real estate niche thing. They don't say that in many other niches that I'm working with. And solo FBOs is a type of real estate service that you won't hear anywhere, and you hear realtors mentioning all the time. These are common examples, as an example, in the real estate niche of niche-specific language that you need to use on sales calls, because once you use their language when you're talking to them about specific things, they trust you because you've had experience in this niche and they can tell that. So if you're working with 5 niches, you don't have any niche-specific language because you have not gained experience in any of them to the sufficient degree that you need to. Same thing here, delivery is unpredictable. So if you're working in 5 niches, the Facebook ads are going to be different than the gym niche versus landscaping niche. Very simple stuff. Each industry equals new objections, new sales language, and back-end problems, and significantly more operational drag. So pick one primary pain point for one niche, hear that out, one pain point of getting leads, of getting more deals. Or if you want to solve a different pain point, fix their sales process. You are now a sales consultant, not an agency owner, but at least you picked the pain points. Better than being an agency owner fixing 10 things at once. Primary pain point needs to be solved in its entirety versus solving 5 different pain points, 20% solved. It is way more valuable to solve something entirely than just a few things. Choose a niche that's high ticket and easily contactable. This is just the high levers of a good niche, which is they have money to spend on your thing. Gym niche, people make it work all the time, but you're probably going to scale significantly faster in landscaping niche because every single company you talk to actually has the money to spend on your service versus gym owners just breaking even every single month with significantly low margins. So make sure you can also contact them. So if you search up their name on the internet, you can find lists on lists and lists of the phone numbers, and that's pretty simple in this online age because you can find most things now. Build niche-specific case studies, industry-specific language, offers, and guarantees. You also won't know what to guarantee actually realistically if you haven't been in that niche for a long time. So make sure you know exactly what you can offer and guarantee to each specific niche when you're working to them. Next thing is custom work instead of productization. I talked about briefly earlier about making a product in the SOPs like that. If you do custom work and you're like, I'm going to offer cold email services to this guy, and then I'm going to offer sales services to this guy, and then I'm going to do Facebook ads to this guy, you have to negotiate all the time about like how much this thing costs because it's custom. They're just going to negotiate with you the whole time versus if you have a productized service, which is like, yes, I guarantee this amount of deals in this amount of days running Facebook ads using this service, using this software. It's fixed prices. People are just going to try to negotiate with you the whole time if you do custom pricing plans. Onboarding chaos. Each new client is a different service delivery system. burn team in margins, which means you're gonna have to hire a bunch of people for different things, which just burns your margins. Not even an agency or freelancer. You're just basically a Fiverr freelancer if you have multiple services at once. You're not an agency that can scale to 100 grand a month. And if you scale to 100 grand a month, you're inhuman. You're gonna be working 500 hours a week. It's not possible. I've never seen it done. Custom work 4x the time with 1x the return. Same return as an agency offering one service. Productized. Deliverable, clear, repeatable, predictable. These are the things we're going to aim for when we're talking about deliverable results. Inputs the same per client. Like I said, you have it completely SOP'd in the doc. Price is completely fixed. You have one offer until you scale to 100 grand a month. Then you can add in an upsell. Outcome is guaranteed. So you have a guaranteed outcome for every client you work with. Fulfillment is completely SOP'd. So you have everything in a doc laid out step by step, what you need to click, exactly what to set up, how to onboard them, how to get them on Facebook Ads Manager, etc. Last one, if you don't have SOPs, you're the bottleneck, and you are only going to operate as much work as you can possibly do. You need to build SOPs to hire people for certain things. The team's going to ask you everything if you don't have specific SOPs. When you're making SOPs, it has to be literally every single part of a skill integrated in that person you're teaching. If I'm hiring cold callers, I'm going to give them 50 cold call recordings I've done. I can give them the exact script. I'm going to give them the exact training that I learned cold calling off of. I'm going to hand them that. I'm going to roast their cold calling skills all the time. I'm going to send them voice memos. If you don't have SOPs like that, you're going to be doing 10x the work as if you just did what I did and handed them everything you need to know about cold calling. Delivery changes per client, which means you're working 50 hours a week. And mistakes repeat weekly because you don't have an SOP for it. So record every repeatable task that you're doing. Use the format input, process, output, feedback. So you click this thing, the process goes, you get an output, which is the lead gets generated. You see the quality lead and you iterate on the system. That's what that means. You have to have a feedback loop in every single thing you're doing. You can either build a centralized Notion for this, or you can even do a Google Doc. You can do a 1% systems improvement every single week. So it's the iteration loop we just talked about. So you need to make sure team members are not only doing sufficient, they're getting better week by week. And if they're not getting better week by week, there's something really wrong with your culture or even the person you hired, because we want people that always improve in a company so the company grows and their skill set also improves. And also creating client-facing onboarding process docs so the client knows the exact timelines in which specific outcome will be generated. And you can do this in video plus written format. You can do what to expect resources. You can do systems improvement. You can do centralized knowledge base accessible to all team members so they all have SOPs. We do this in Google Drive in my company. And you can even teach them the input, process, output, feedback, review system like we just talked about so they know exactly what is happening with this. So you just want to avoid complexity in agency as much as possible. It's stripping the fat off the meat. Like you just want to make it as lean as possible. You want to go into the business, say what can be removed without it just absolutely breaking, and what are the big levers that are working right now for my company. That is an 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, is that all of the 80% of the results are coming from 20% of the inputs. If you go into a company, I see this all the time when I'm talking to agency owners, I can just eliminate 80% of the stuff from their business and they can have the same return because it's all useless. Do this in your business and everything will be scaling significantly faster if you didn't. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to go to the description to see my funnel, which is absolutely designed to sell you something, which is guaranteed 10 clients in 6 months, working with me personally, I can do this with your agency. You can book a call there. If not, have a great day. I'll see you later. Goodbye.